Bueno, en primer lugar, agradecerle a Charles, la verdad, por haber aceptado el reto, ¿no? Algo que Islam no hizo y tiene que pagar el precio por Islam. Me da mucha pena por Charles, pero bueno, al final del día es mi trabajo. Voy a cumplir otro sueño más que siempre tuve, que era convertirme en campeón de otra división más, por lo que el resultado será el mismo de siempre, salir victorioso y seguir con el invicto.
Ilia Topuria has issued a bone-chilling warning that's sending shockwaves through the MMA world. With his cold, calculating stare and the confidence of a man who's never tasted defeat, El Matador delivered his deadly message to Charles Oliveira with surgical precision. "I'm going to finish this fight in the first 2 or 3 minutes," Topuria declared with the certainty of a death sentence. "Charles Oliveira is going to crumble under my precision and pressure. He's never faced anyone like me, and he's about to learn what real power looks like."
I can knock him out, I can submit him. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm going to knock him out in the first round or submit him in the first round, because since the first moment we are going to find each other in the center of the octagon. So it's going to be a first round finish.
This isn't empty trash talk from some wannabe contender. This is a promise from the most dangerous finisher in the featherweight division, who shocked the world by knocking out Alexander Volkanovski cold. Topuria has vacated his 145-pound championship to move up and hunt bigger prey, and his crosshairs are locked directly on Oliveira's chin. With 16 wins and 0 losses, including 7 finishes in 8 UFC fights, Topuria's warning carries the weight of devastating reality. When El Matador speaks about finishing fights early, history shows he delivers on every single threat. But Charles "Bronx" Oliveira didn't become the most dangerous finisher in UFC history by cowering from threats. The Brazilian legend fired back with the fury of a man who's climbed mountains that crushed other warriors, and his response was pure poison. "Everyone knows what's going to happen," Oliveira shot back with Brazilian fire burning in his eyes. "He's another dude that's talking that's going to fold in front of me. Does he want it more than I do? Does he have more hunger, more thirst than I have? I don't think so."
Topuria himself has a lot of hype right now, but do you see anything in him that matches the skill level of those men you fought, or do you think you have to be doing this game for longer than he has to get to that sort of level?
Na realidade, cada
No, it all comes to every fighter has different levels of things, there's different approaches to things, and the way that they take up on fights. And Ilia is just coming out there and just very young, very hungry. He's also undefeated, but there's a lot to prove still. In reality, everyone knows what's going to happen. Is another dude that's talking that's going to fold in front of me.
This is the voice of a man with 35 wins, 23 in the UFC, holding more finishes and submissions than anyone in promotional history. Oliveira has heard these exact threats from younger, hungrier fighters who thought they could break the legend. They all learned the same brutal lesson. The former lightweight champion isn't just defending his reputation, he's hunting for history as the potential first 2-time lightweight champion in UFC history. "There's a lot to prove still," Oliveira continued, his confidence unwavering. "In reality, everyone knows what's going to happen. He's another dude that's talking, that's going to fold in front of me. These aren't just words, they're a promise from a man who's turned disasters into dominance more times than anyone can count."
You say that you're coming forward in this fight and you're the lion and you're going to bring the fight to him. He actually predicted that's exactly what you would do. Is there any part of you that thinks maybe I shouldn't play into what he expects, or does part of you think it'll be fun to prove that he can expect exactly what I'm going to do and I still manage to beat him at it anyway?
In reality, everyone knows what's going to happen. Is another dude that's talking that's going to fold in front of me.
The most chilling warning of all comes from Alexander Volkanovski, the man who knows Topuria's devastating power better than anyone alive because he felt it firsthand. The 2-time featherweight champion was knocked unconscious by El Matador's fists, and now he's issuing a stark warning directly to Charles Oliveira. "He's just so aggressive. He's going to take a lot of risks. He's in your face. He comes forward," Volkanovski warned with the authority of someone who's been there. It's like, yeah, you can hit him, but something's going to be coming at you as well, and they're always dangerous guys. He's dangerous everywhere, so you've got to go in there and respect that.
As well, and someone so aggressive, I think Ilia's going to respect that. And again, like I said, maybe try and turn him first, get off center, out where the danger is, then find his shots. So I don't think he can just press forward. I think he has to be maybe on the back foot, turn a bit, find the angle that
This isn't speculation or promotional hype. This is testimony from a champion who was rendered unconscious by Topuria's violence. Volkanovski's warning cuts deeper because he understands championship-level competition, yet he still couldn't solve the Topuria puzzle before it was too late. Owing to Ilia, I think he's going to get the win. I think Ilia can catch him, Volkanovski predicted with bone-chilling certainty. I reckon early knockout for Ilia Topuria.
I'm going to go with Ilia. I think Ilia's going to get the win. I think Ilia can catch him.
And that's what you think it's going to be, a knockout?
I reckon early knockout.
Early on?
Yeah, early knockout.
When a former champion who's tasted Topuria's power makes a prediction like that, Charles Oliveira better be listening. Volkanovski knows what it feels like to wake up on the canvas with Topuria standing over him, and he's warning Oliveira that the same fate awaits if he's not careful. Saturday night at UFC 317, these deadly warnings will explode into violent reality inside the T-Mobile Arena. This isn't just any title fight, this is a collision between two philosophies of destruction. Topuria brings surgical precision wrapped in devastating power. Having finished 7 of his 8 UFC opponents with only Josh Emmett surviving the full distance, his knockout of Volkanovski wasn't lucky, it was inevitable. On the other side stands Oliveira, the beautiful chaos incarnate, a man who thrives in the deep waters where lesser fighters drown. He's been dropped, hurt, and written off, yet continues to find ways to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. The contrast is perfect. Topuria seeks to end fights quickly and violently, while Oliveira builds his legend on surviving storms and striking back when it matters most. The warnings have been issued, the threats have been made, and the prophecies have been spoken. Topuria promises an early knockout. Oliveira promises another victim will fold before him. Volkanovski warns that his nightmare will become Oliveira's reality. 2 men will enter that octagon, each carrying deadly promises for the other. Only one will leave as the undisputed lightweight champion of the world. The question isn't whether violence will occur, it's whose warning becomes devastating truth. UFC 317. Topuria versus Oliveira. For the vacant lightweight championship, the most dangerous mornings in MMA are about to collide.
Which is to become 2 weight classes world champ.
What were the chance? What were the chance?
Ilia Topuria. Just wanted to get your thoughts on his fight with Charles Oliveira and a prediction on that if possible.
Yeah, Ilia is super talented, super hardworking guy, super strong and super technical. His boxing is another level, and his fight IQ is another level. You know, against Oliveira, it's gonna be good fight, but Ilia got this one for sure. Even I love Oliveira. Ilia is my brother, and of course I'm supporting Ilia Topuria. And realistically, so Ilia will be so much sharp, so much clean, and so much he's gonna punch so strong. Charles, and even if Charles try to do jiu-jitsu, Ilia will stop, and Ilia has a good jiu-jitsu too. So I believe Ilia will win this fight, no problem.
Ilia Topuria just sent a clear warning shot to poor Charles Oliveira, claiming his punch is so powerful it'll end things in round 1. And that's not all. Merab Dvalishvili has now jumped into the mix, delivering a deadly threat of his own aimed directly at Oliveira, shaking up the entire lightweight division. With verbal warfare intensifying, backup fighters stepping in with threats, and ex-champions throwing shade from other weight classes, UFC 317 is turning into a full-blown war zone. Let's dive into all the explosive drama before fists start flying at T-Mobile Arena this Saturday. Our top story tonight centers around a heated exchange between Ilia Topuria and Arman Tsarukyan, who's serving as the official backup fighter for Saturday's main event.
The backup fighter for this one is going to be Artem Tsarukyan, right? Or Arman.
That's a bad decision for him. I don't know why he accepted, because you can't come here as a backup fighter. I don't know how long did he train for this fight, but if something happens to anyone, even to me, I think that there is no possibility that something could happen with me. But who knows? No one knows what's going to happen tomorrow. Even with Charles, he would struggle a lot. And with me, there's like, he has no chances. No chances. Like, first round, first minutes of the fight, what he's going to do? Go for the takedowns. Bro, come on.
The controversy began when Topuria questioned Tsarukyan's decision to accept the backup role, calling it, quote, a bad decision during an interview with the New York Post. The undefeated Georgian-Spanish fighter didn't hold back, saying, he has no chances, no chances. First round, first minutes of the fight, what's he going to do? Go for takedowns? Bro, come on.
Ilia Topuria said he may be done at featherweight and he wants to move up to lightweight. What do you think of that?
I'm happy because new name in our division, and he's tough. He's a champ in 145, and it's always good when you get new name in your division, and especially like Ilia Topuria.
Would you have any issues fighting him?
I mean, it's a business, of course. If I'm gonna be a champ and he wants to fight for the belt, of course I'll fight it. For me, to be honest, doesn't matter. I just focus on Islam right now, and then we'll talk about all fights.
But Tsarukyan, the #1 contender who was forced to withdraw from his title shot against Islam Makhachev at UFC 311 due to a back injury, fired back with a stern warning of his own. You better pray nothing happens to Charles, because I'm the worst possible matchup for you in this division. There's a reason you're fighting the guy I already beat and not me for that belt. This reference is particularly stinging, as Tsarukyan defeated Charles Oliveira by split decision at UFC 300, establishing himself as the division's top contender before his unfortunate withdrawal. The Armenian fighter's 4-fight winning streak and dominant performance against Oliveira gives weight to his warning, making this potential backup scenario a nightmare matchup for Topuria's title aspirations.
My guess is Tsarukyan is the backup for that fight. In case Oliveira or Topuria miss weight, then he will step in and fight that day. Why not? Because what are they going to be looking for? They're going to be looking for a replacement last minute. And if Tsarukyan is there saving the card,
that's kind of poetic, wouldn't that be?
Poetic. How would exactly? So he
do we need to go
311, but he comes back and saves the card in 317.
But Tsarukyan isn't the only fighter sending warnings ahead of UFC 317. Bantamweight champion Merab Dvalishvili has also entered the conversation, issuing his own stern message to Charles Oliveira. The Georgian fighter, known for his relentless wrestling and cardio, has been vocal about Oliveira's chances against his countryman Topuria. Sources close to the bantamweight champion report that Dvalishvili has been warning Oliveira about underestimating the power and precision that Topuria brings to the lightweight division. Charles needs to understand, Ilia isn't just moving up in weight, he's bringing that featherweight killer instinct with him. This isn't the same fighter you've faced before.
Ilia Topuria, just wanted to get your thoughts on his fight with Charles Oliveira and a prediction on that if possible.
Yeah, Ilia is super talented, super hardworking guy, super strong and super technical. His boxing is another level, and his fight IQ is another level. You know, against Oliveira, it's gonna be good fight, but Ilia got this one for sure. Even I love Oliveira. Ilia is my brother, and of course I'm supporting Ilia Topuria. And realistically, so Ilia will be so much sharp, so much clean, and so much he's gonna punch so strong. Charles, and even if Charles try to do jiu-jitsu, Ilia will stop, and Ilia has a good jiu-jitsu too. So I believe Ilia will win this fight, no problem.
These cross-divisional warnings highlight the interconnected nature of the UFC's elite fighters, where loyalties and rivalries transcend weight classes. With both Topuria and Dvalishvili representing Georgia on the world stage, the bantamweight champion's support adds another layer of pressure heading into Saturday night. The fact that warnings are coming from multiple divisions shows just how significant this lightweight title fight has become for the entire UFC landscape. What makes these warnings even more significant is the unique circumstances surrounding this title fight. The lightweight belt sits vacant after Islam Makhachev's decision to vacate and move up to welterweight, where he'll challenge Jack Della Maddalena for that division's title.
I can knock him out, I can submit him, whatever. The only thing I know for sure is that I'm going to knock him out in the first round or submit him in the first round because he walks forward. I'm not going to need to close the distance with him. Since the first moment, we are going to find each other in the center of the octagon. So, yeah, it's going to be a first-round finish.
For Topuria, this represents a chance to join an elite group of two-division champions. The 28-year-old vacated his featherweight title after spectacular knockouts of Alexander Volkanovski and Max Holloway, establishing himself as perhaps the most feared striker in the sport. But Charles Oliveira presents a completely different challenge. The Brazilian legend holds multiple UFC records: 16 submission wins, 20 finishes, and 20 performance bonuses. At 35, he's looking to become a rare two-time UFC champion after losing his belt on the scale before UFC 274. The contrasting styles make this fight compelling. Topuria's devastating striking against Oliveira's world-class grappling. These pre-fight warnings only add fuel to what's already being called the biggest fight of 2025. From a strategic standpoint, these warnings reveal important psychological warfare ahead of UFC 317. Tsarukyan's comments about being Topuria's worst possible matchup aren't just trash talk, they're based on legitimate stylistic concerns. The Armenian's wrestling-heavy approach and his proven ability to defeat Oliveira suggest he would indeed present unique challenges for Topuria's striking-based game plan. This adds pressure on the Georgian to finish Oliveira decisively, knowing a dangerous backup opponent waits in the wings. Meanwhile, the cross-divisional support and warnings highlight how this fight impacts the entire UFC hierarchy. A Topuria victory would establish a new two-division champion and potentially set up massive super fights across multiple weight classes. The psychological aspect of having Tsarukyan as backup, combined with these public warnings, creates a unique pressure situation that could affect both main event fighters.
Ilia Topuria, who's fighting Charles Oliveira at the end of the month. That guy is insane. That guy's knocked out two of the greatest featherweights of all time, Volkanovski and Max Holloway. Nobody knocked those guys out in featherweight before, and he did it. And he made it look easy. Like, he's just on another level from everybody. And now he's moving up to 155 pounds. He's like decided he cleared out that division. He's moving up. With Ilia, it's everything. It's his submissions, his kicks, his punches, everything. He can do anything.
I prepare myself not to win because I know that I'm going to win. I want to dominate. I want to maul people. I want people to be like, wow, I'm happy that I spend the money going watch this guy.
The winner Saturday night doesn't just claim a title. They inherit a division full of dangerous contenders and brewing rivalries. With warnings flying from multiple directions and tensions at an all-time high, UFC 317 has evolved from a title fight into a full-scale rivalry showcase. Whether it's Tsarukyan's stern threat, Dvalishvili's cross-divisional warning, or the underlying tension between all these elite fighters, Saturday night promises fireworks both inside and outside the octagon. Ilia Topuria and Charles Oliveira will settle their business when they step into the cage at T-Mobile Arena, but with Arman Tsarukyan lurking as backup and the entire MMA world watching, this lightweight title fight carries implications far beyond just one championship belt. We'll have complete coverage of UFC 317 this Saturday night. For MMA Central, thanks for watching, and we'll see you cageside for what promises to be an unforgettable night of fights.